I have found that letting go is a key piece moving forward in these turbulent times. As I commit to moving forward with my life, I think having a perfect companion and opening new doors of opportunities to hit my goals is my first step in moving forward. And so I decided to go with BPI. In just 5 minutes with BPI, I know I'm going to make it there. Moving forward with BPI helps me in manifesting my plans and working towards it. You might think it's impossible to move forward in the middle of a lockdown and restrictions, but BPI made it happen. BPI made me realize that I am the only one that's in control of my time and my future. BPI made it happen by opening an account online in just 5 minutes. I now have control of my time and my future because I can now pay my utilities, insurance, and credit card bills online. On top of that, I can now shop online for all of my needs and wants along the journey of moving forward. To start taking a step towards the life that you want, open an account online with BPI now. Having your own BPI account places convenience in your hands. Just open the BPI mobile app, create a bank account in just 5 minutes, and you're good to go. Remember to always choose what chooses you. BPI, your best companion in serving your needs. Open an account online anywhere today.
Hello? Hello?
Podcast Network Asia.
Hi, this is Alec Cuenca, and you're listening to Small Talk. Hey guys, welcome back to Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. My name is Alec Cuenca, and I will be your host for this show. And if this is your first time, then welcome back. Welcome to the show. I hope you enjoy this episode. And if you do enjoy this episode, then go ahead and check out the other amazing episodes because they have a lot of insights that could help you with you making better decisions for yourself and for the people around you. And if this your nth time listening to the podcast, then welcome back. I am so happy that you're here. It just means that you are invested in improving yourself slowly but surely. So today's episode is a very special episode because I have two amazing people that I will be talking to in a bit. But I really wanted them to be on the show, although it took us quite some time for me to get them. But because I guested on their show and I really had a great time sharing my experiences, and they also provided some insights and some angles. And I don't know why my notifications keep on coming up, but they really provided some amazing insights on my own experience. I've been telling the same story over and over, but with them, I really had a great time sharing my story. So I am so excited to introduce our guest for today. Yes, we have two of them. Our guest for today is no other than the podcast hosts of Langga Speaks podcast, Apple and Jeric. Hey guys.
Hey. Welcome. Thank you for inviting us.
Goodbye. We're done.
We're done.
Yeah. Don't worry guys, this is gonna be a very casual conversation. Alam ko.
Okay.
Yeah, it's so casual. I'm like sitting like this.
God, they can see your leg.
Sorry.
Let's be prim and proper.
I'm sorry.
But yeah. And guys, thank you so much for accepting the invite. I really wanted to talk to you guys kasi nabitin talaga ako sa conversation natin before. And I was thinking, well, I mainly talk about motivation on my podcast, but I also talk about relationships. And I can honestly say that even though I share my own experiences and insights, I'm still an amateur when it comes to relationship. And if there are, people that I really look up to when it comes to relationships, it's you guys. Kung meron man akong hihingi ng advice, sa inyo ako lalapit. Sa inyo ako manghihingi.
Parang yung huli,
hindi
masyado maganda yung track record. No?
Sa totoo lang.
Inside joke.
Sorry.
Pero nung background lang din, nung last time kasi na nag-guest ako sa kanila, pinag-pray nila ako na magkabebe ako. And then after a few weeks, nagkabebe ako. So, hindi nga lang siguro pinag-pray na tumagal.
You were not specific. We forgot to put on the fine print the other details that comes with having a bebe. So, ayun, hindi namin nalagay yung clause
Yeah, we should have said wife, not
Oh,
wife
yeah, we should have
material.
said
Yeah,
wife
wife
material.
Yeah,
Right, that's right.
Yeah, I'm not yet ready for that. So maybe next time na natin ipag-pray yun. But for the people who don't know anything about you guys, if someone came up to you and said, "Can you introduce yourselves to us?" How would you introduce yourselves?
Hi, I'm Jeric, and I don't like talking to people, so just
If I was drinking, that water came out of my nose.
no. Actually, I think Apple can start with that because you're the
Oh,
type when
I
I
think
first met
this
you.
okay. This is gonna be like an interesting take. Let me
Yeah.
change my question.
Okay.
So if Apple would introduce Jeric to a completely random stranger, how would you do it, and vice versa?
Okay.
Oh, okay. Hi, this is Jeric. He's the other side to Apple. Not kidding.
Seriously, how did
Oh,
you do it?
seriously?
Yeah.
Hi, this is Jeric. He's the guy I married. I don't know why, but he's the one I chose.
Sa akin siguro it will be like, oh, by the way, this is Apple. Weighing. And still the champion of my heart,
You're so cheesy.
Defante.
You're so cheesy.
Seriously, I would be
How
like,
much are you getting paid here? So
I don't know. Actually, I don't know because whenever we go and meet strangers, I just say hi, like especially here in the UAE. So I start with, "Uy, kabayan, kamusta?
Magkano
Magkano
sweldo mo?
sweldo mo?" May opening ba sa inyo?
Maganda ba yung bayad sa company niyo?
Maganda ba yung bigayan sa inyo? Yan. Usually, but on a serious note, that's really how people talk here. It's just weird, but I remember when I was still commuting in the Dubai metro, that usually is the starter. People here don't know how to do small talk, which is the title of your podcast. But whenever they talk to fellow Filipinos, that's the first thing. Uy, saan ka nagwo-work? Yeah, I think in the Philippines it's different. In the Philippines, when I was still there, it's saan ka graduate, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, see?
or minsan sinasabi nila, saan ka pupunta? Like,
Yeah. Saan ka pupunta?
Saan ka pupunta?
Sama ka.
First time, no? First conversation, saan ka pupunta?
Yeah.
Agad nakakatakot.
Pinapaalis ka na.
Taga saan ka? Ah, okay, saan ka punta? Ganun na ganun. Okay.
Game
Anyway,
mo.
but yeah. So how long have you guys known each other? Because honestly, you guys have an amazing chemistry. Hopefully, hindi lang din siya on screen. Pero you guys have an amazing chemistry. And I, for one, is, minsan sa mga cute na cheesy sila na papasa na all. Pero every time that I hear you guys talk or, pag lumalabas kayo sa feed ko na meron kayong dalawang nasa isang screen kayo, napapasa na all talaga ako. Because you guys really seem so genuine. So how did you guys meet? And yeah, how did it happen na ganto ka flourishing and ka-light yung relationship niya?
First of all, we're fakers and
Yeah, totally.
totally we can act up.
He
we have a
lives in
different
another
world.
apartment.
Yeah.
Like, I cannot stand being
This
beside him.
is like my past life as an actor. No, just kidding. But I think what really helped us, we met 2000. I mean, she's the whatever is recorded here, she's the last say.
It's okay. You'll see a black eye if he gives wrong details.
Okay,
It's
so
alright, go.
we met 2009.
No. I don't know who you met in 2009.
No, we didn't meet.
We met
2009.
2012.
2012. It was because of a World Youth Day. World Youth Day is a Catholic gathering of youth. It happens every 2 years. Because of the pandemic, it was moved. The World Youth Day back then was in Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil.
Rio de Janeiro. So I met her through that particular event because I wanted to experience. Gusto ko ma-experience yung pag-join ng World Youth Day. So nagkataon lang na siya yung group leader ko. And I think what really, you're saying we had chemistry, we really had no chemistry. Because first and foremost, when I started telling her that I have feelings for her, she totally shut me down. We were not...
Because he totally wasn't my type. He
Yeah,
spoke
exactly.
too much Tagalog. I had no idea what he was saying. He would make jokes and I'll be like, oh, I'm sorry. It was funny.
You're also not my type. Hello. I was into chinitas.
Wow. Your face.
Chinita. And eto totoo to. Ang prayer ko talaga noon is, Lord, ngayon na nasa Dubai na ako, I pray na magkaroon ako ng girlfriend na foreigner para mabago yung lahi namin. You know? Kasi pagka mixed race sa atin, artista na agad.
He was looking for a future investment.
Yeah, so
that he could
basically,
pull.
I was looking
Yeah.
long
He's a
term.
long-term guy.
Yeah, long
I
term
love
ang
that.
aking vision to have a foreign girlfriend and a wife. But suddenly, of course, I wasn't specific enough as well. Alec, going back to specific, being specific in prayers, I just said foreigner. And then I met her. She grew up here, which that's why she speaks English most of the time. Foreigner nga, Ilongga nga lang. And then when she met me, you really didn't have that much interest. She wasn't that interested sa akin to the point na ginugol niya ako during the time. Ginugol niya ako, bro, kasi ako lang yung stranger sa group niya
Yeah.
that was assigned to her for World Youth Day. But it's a good opportunity because back then I had
He had cred. He had street
I had
cred
street
with
cred
me.
in Google.
Yeah, because at the time he was just announced as the United Nations Citizen Ambassador for 2011. So he had street cred with me. I'm like, oh, okay, he's not gonna murder me and steal from me. You know what I mean? When we're on the streets of Rio, so it's fine. So he's not gonna go TNT and look for a Brazilian wife, that kind of thing.
Tarawa, I was looking for Brazilian.
That's right. That's why he was all like doing small talk. He learned Portuguese, like Brazilian Portuguese.
I even
And he talked
studied
to
Portuguese.
every cute girl on the street, and he was like,
Ifalo un poco en portugués? Un poco portugués.
No way.
Yeah,
no,
I did.
yeah, he was. He's really charming. He's really, really charming.
So I think we started, the chemistry that we have now is because we were long-time friends before, not super long, but
Mukhang
2
long
years,
time
2,
friends,
3
yeah,
years, 2, 3 years friends before we really...
Friends without any malicia, kasi nga we weren't each other's type.
Friends without motivation.
Oh, really? Okay. So that's interesting.
Yeah, so we were honestly like not each other's type until later on, and realized namin, oh, okay, he has something more than just his cute face, more than just his personality. He actually has depth of character. So sabi ko,
Akala ko, okay, wala na akong choice. Sige, ikaw na. Because we were actually, we have a different individuals assigned to us. So I had someone in the Philippines. She had someone from up there north. so we weren't really looking at each other, but we were friends.
Well, that's a really nice take na nagsimula kayo ng friends, and then eventually when the feelings came out, it just parang naging catalyst lang yun for your friendship to grow. And I think the best relationships are founded on friendships.
Yeah.
And I just want to go back on something that you said, because you mentioned that you are not each other's type. So did you have any specific type? And what did you learn when it comes to love or relationships na hindi pala talaga nasusunod yung type na yan? Or do we need to set some types? Or paano nangyari na okay, hindi pala yun yung type mo pero dun kayo nag-end up?
I will let you start because I'm still formulating my thoughts.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for us men, we're very visual, diba? Siyempre, we start with the type of what we see. Siyempre, may type na agad tayo. I do have that. Like, I have a preference. Like, yung sabi ko nga, before I was into chinitas, and then eventually, as I progress in life, it's a good way of saying as I grow old. And like, I have a list of non-negotiables naman to start with. And I came to know in as I progress that, of course, I wanted to be with someone that I can have conversations with. Because at the end of the day, the looks will fade, all of this will fade, but the character will remain. And I need someone that I can just talk anything under the sun. Kahit anong topics lang na a good conversation. So parang naging ganun yung, na-narrow down yung list ko into that. Character, someone I can talk to, but more so, someone that loves Jesus more than I do. And so, when I met Apple, she was not my type, but as I grew to know her more, meron siya nung tinatawag ni, who said this? Is this Archbishop Fulton Sheen? Yeah, so Archbishop Fulton Sheen said that the beauty of the soul will always reflect itself upon the face. You cannot keep it. So the beauty of the soul will always reflect itself upon the face. And I still remember that moment. I always tell her this, na the very first time that I saw her so beautiful is when I think we were having our final mass. It's a send-off mass. Yeah, I think it's a send-off mass. It's a send-off mass before we went to Brazil. And then I saw a picture of her. Someone just randomly had a picture of her na she was her eyes were closed and she was praying. Tapos nung nakita ko yun sa feed ko sa Facebook, sabi ko, ganda ni Apple dito. So I always, sabi ko, naku, nabudol na ako ni Lord. Ito na ba yun, Lord? I was battling, actually, to be honest, I was battling my feelings for her. And I actually told this to my closest friends because I didn't want to fall in love with the prospect of her na siguro mabait lang siya kaya ako in love. So mabait niya sa akin. Or I didn't want to be faked out by my emotions alone. But then eventually, the clutter was cleared out. I really needed to define the relationship as we move on. Kasi nagkaroon na ng ibang perspective yung pag-ibig ko sa kanya. Does that satisfy you?
Actually,
Kinikilig si Apple sa gilid eh.
Ganun mo naman narinig yun?
no.
Maybe my English was better now.
But yeah, Apple, from your perspective, you said that Jeric was not your type. So how did it came to happen na parang, yun nga, pwede pala. Pwede pala. Or nag-evolve pala yung feelings.
No, it was weird because I grew up in an environment where one of the lessons we were taught when I was younger is that, you have to define non-negotiables as well. So that was something that was ingrained in me. But actually, it started when I was like 12. My mom was telling me, "Ay Langga, you have to, why don't you start praying for your future husband?" That kind of thing. And I was like, what? I'm thinking about algebra. Why are you talking about my future husband right now? And then my mom had parang she taught me that it's not too early to start praying for your future spouse, even if you're not, But I never really took it seriously until I was like 18, 19, that kind of thing. And then I started journaling when I was like 22, parang ganon. And then some of my prayers that I would write down would literally be like a letter to God, like saying that, if ever my future husband is out there, if ever you're planning that I would get married one day, he's probably going through the same thing I'm doing. So when I was doing exams, he was probably at school as well. If I was going through something with my family, he's probably also struggling with his parents, finding his independence, that kind of thing. He's probably also looking for a job. So I pray, Lord, na i-bless mo siya. Kasi if ever na he's gonna be the one that you're planning for me, preparing for me, I pray that his decisions would also be aligned in such a way na yung character niya magde-develop to become the man that I'm praying for. And at the same time, lahat ng mga decision ko is also na parang that I would become the Mrs. Right to my Mr. Right. You know what I mean? So that, kasi mahirap naman nahanap ko na yung Mr. Right ko, pero ako, hindi pala ako yung hinahanap niya. Kawawa naman ako, diba? So those were all of like the content of my journals. And then when he came around, I completely forgot about those prayers because my journals were just like tucked away. And then like when he started courting and I was like, seriously, he's really not my physical type. I mean, he makes me laugh. But I would have liked a little bit, someone.
I look so, scrawny.
Langga, I didn't say
No, I'm
anything
just saying.
about.
I was so, I look like, what's my peg? Pido Dido. Do you know Pido Dido?
No.
Oh my God. He's the model of 7-Up before, like that stick figure thing. So I was close to being, I look like a hanger when I'm wearing t-shirt. Yeah, yun ang pinakamabilis na ano.
Wala naman ako sinasabi.
But
Grabe
that's
siya.
the reality of it. I was 1% less of what I am today. But you still accepted me. There you go.
Yeah, okay, so long story short, when he started courting, because at the time I was confused over what he was, because I never had a boyfriend before. I mean, I went out with other guys and stuff like that, but for some reason they never used to click. They were all great guys, but they never used to click or stick around for very long. And then when he started becoming very persistent and his character started showing up, for some reason I was brought back to those journal prayers, and for some weird reason the prayers that I had asked for in future husband seemed to tick. Family, his character, the way how he views his family, blah, 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 how my parents love him, blah, blah, blah. For some reason, they seemed to tick every single thing. And I was like, this is not the way how I wanted my life to end. Jeric was not the answer I was asking for.
Alam mo, Gal, now that you're saying it, siguro ng mga panahong pinagdadasal mo ko, I mean, of course, we didn't know one another yet. Kaya siguro, may mga games ako sa Dota na nananalo ko.
Or natatalo ka talaga para umayaw ka na.
Oo, para umayaw na ako. So, siguro nandun yung prayers sa'yo. Kasi may mga time nang galing ko sa Dota, tapos may mga time na alam mo yon. So I really thank you for those prayers. Shout out sa mga kalaro ko.
Hello, Mapua days.
Yeah.
But anyways, yeah, for some reason, that's when I realized when I was asking the Lord, sabi ko, Lord, bakit ganon? Like, Jeric is totally not the answer I was envisioning. I was totally envisioning someone completely different. But then that's where I learned that sometimes the answers we're looking for isn't exactly what God has in store for us. And when you allow God to give, his plan over yours, when you surrender to his plan, turns out to be way better. And then I realized that the love I have for him was not just the emotion, but was because he's literally the answer to the prayers I was praying for. So yun.
And with your spirit.
Nakakainis ka. Kalax ka. Imagine mo nga.
Okay.
Marhaba, I'm Jeric,
And I'm Apple, and we're from the Langga Speaks podcast.
coming to you all the way from Dubai.
Yalla, join us as we talk about family,
Faith and everything in between. We're brought to you by Podcast Network Asia to remind you
na palangga ka sa Diyos.
Nagka-goosebumps naman ako na you would think na sa movie mo lang nakikita yung mga ganyan eh. But it happens
True.
more often than we think. But I really love what you said, Apple, when it comes to, I think there's a very interesting take on your prayer back then, because most of the people that I know, they keep on praying, Lord, ingatan mo yung the one ko, or pinagdadasal nila yung the one nila. Pero they don't really pray that, Lord, sana po ako maging the one din ako for other people.
Yeah.
And that's a mind-blowing concept, kasi hindi na lang din sa terms of you having the faith na whatever's gonna happen is gonna happen, or everything is basically preparing you for a better one or the right one. But it also allows you to focus on the present or your actions na meron ka ngayon. And so I think most of the people, why they get so frustrated when it comes to love and relationship, is that they're praying for something, but they're expecting something else, right? So if we just, as Apple said, if we just completely surrender, we'll realize that, God's plan is much, much better than the ones that we have.
And
So,
the
yeah,
good thing about Apple is, apart from that surrender, she was actively waiting as well. She wasn't just passively waiting. And it just so happens that I was also ready, because my mindset before was I was gonna be married by 40. Ganun talaga, bro. As in, I was also so into personal development to the point that I was on the extreme. Basically, I had to figure things out, get my mess in the right, direction, and get my stuff together before I dive in and ask someone to date me. So kailangan, sabi ko,
Wow,
I have
ask someone to date you?
yeah, I was, I was that confident. But anyway, kasi I was on the point nga na kailangan makuha ko yung first million ko, may bahay na ako, may kotse na, before I try to settle down. Because I was on this mode that I will settle down. I wasn't looking at marriage as stepping up rather than a settling down. But then, as I progressed nga, and I came to know other teachings about our faith has really has something to do with it. The Catholic teaching that marriage is supposed to be self-sacrificial, and you don't need someone na kompleto ka na, yung tipong you figured it all out and then tsaka ka magpapakasal. You need someone who will accept you as you are, not the future you, to be your partner in life. From soulmate, yung SOUL na tinatawag, di ba? From soulmate, iba yung naging definition ko, naging soulmate. SOLE, as in soul ng sapatos.
The talampakan.
The talampakan. That I was discerning, I was looking for someone who will walk life with me rather than someone that will complete me. So, thank you for being my talampakan.
So horrible. You're the talampakan to my life.
Yes.
I love that. I love how you mentioned na hindi pala natin, we don't see marriage as leveling up. We look at it as settling down. And I think that shift in perspective just allows us to find the right qualities in finding a partner in our lives. Na hindi lang pala someone na mapapasaya tayo, or alam mo yun, na
Totoo.
kailangan din pala yung pwedeng kasama rin natin sa hardships and sa struggles. And that's a very important thing. Now, I want to ask you guys, for the people who are listening and okay, maybe they're with someone or they're actively waiting for someone, are there any certain qualities that you think a person should have for them to malesen or madala sila sa tamang or magkaroon ng healthy relationship? Are there any qualities that you see na pwede nyong na makita rin sa ibang relationships?
Yeah, I think for me it's very simple kasi lalaki tayo, so kailangan di masyadong complicated. I think Apple can give the more complicated version that is fitting for a lot of women. Mga women kasi overthinkers yan di ba? Ang dami. Tayo very simple lang. So I always say to those single people who are discerning or who are looking for someone that they can have a lifelong relationship with is very simple yung guideline ko. The closer you become to the right person, the more you become yourself. I repeat, the closer you become to the right person, the closer you become yourself. So how would you know if you're becoming yourself? Well, of course, you will have your set of accountable people who will tell you na, alam mo, simula dinate mo yung babaeng yan, bro. Alam mo, Alex, simula dinate mo yung babaeng yun, nag-iba ka na. Wala ka na ng oras sa amin. Iba ka na manamit. Di ka na namin mag-gets, bro. Di ka na namin mag-gets. Di ba may ganyan? So, ibig sabihin, ikaw lang yung invested sobra doon sa babaeng yun, kung sino man siya. But you're not becoming your real self. You're more drawn into just serving the other person to the point that you lose yourself in the process. So that's a very good way of gauging if it's the right fit or right person for you. Na as you go with on the relationship with her or him, the more you flourish as a person. Wala nang yung tipong pagbibigyan kita, I will decrease so you may increase. Kay Lord lang yun. Kay Lord lang applicable yung I have to decrease so that you, Lord, will increase. But in a relationship, I think when you are with the right person, you will grow without a lot of friction with your family, with your friends. Sometimes kasi gustong-gusto natin yung concept ng you and me against the world eh. But the reality is at the end of it all, when you do get married, you still have your family with you. Yung mga magiging anak mo, magiging lola nila at lolo yung parents mo. So you have to be sure, are you really becoming more of yourself with this person? So that's my very simple guideline. For you, Apple, I don't know.
No, I think disclaimer because I was like, dang, he took my answer. No, but
I didn't.
Yeah, sure. I think disclaimer because when he said like the closer you get to this person, the closer you become yourself, and having accountable people. I think the fine line really of having that accountable people because maybe we've been living a life for so long that they think that's who we really are. We're living to please other people in the way how they perceive us to be. So sometimes when the accountable people around us, maybe they already have a distorted image of who we are as well. So it really takes a lot of self-awareness to know the real people, to know the real you. You know, you're not just faking it so that the people, sometimes even our parents don't know who we are. Sometimes even our siblings, our close friends don't know who we are because we were living the way how they expected us to be. So disclaimer din yun. We really have to have that true self-awareness so that when we know who we are, we will be able to recognize those red flags that pop up whenever the person who we're pursuing or the person who's pursuing us is coming near. We would recognize it immediately. So it also has that then. And the self-awareness of knowing that when the red flags appear and you know that's really not a good fit, you know that your self-value, your self-worth, your dignity as a person, you can't let yourself parang sell yourself short because, you're just willing to give up yourself, to die to yourself because you want to put the other person on a higher level, but they're not really the right one for you. So Jeric and I believe kasi na even though there's many choices out there, the challenge is always
Kasi there's no one for you.
There's no the one for you. It's a choice that you have to make. Yeah. Like Jeric could have picked any other girl, right?
Yeah, there's so many na pwede naman same with Apple. So I think we're just trapped in the mentality na there is one, like super one person just for you. And it paralyzes a lot of people. Sometimes meron ng tao talaga na andyan lang, ganda naman ng character, wife or husband material, but we're still searching for that one. I mean, we believe that God's will is a lot of good things. It's just not one certain absolute thing. It's a lot of good things. And the choice is very wide. Yun nga lang, kailangan mo talagang
I-filter.
i-filter and, to really choose.
Kaya nga choice eh. That's why when you say, I do at the altar, that's your choice. So you've made your choice. You can't like make your choice and then just like, oh wait, the better option was over there. So I think I would have felt better if I pursued that
Totoo.
other person pala ganon. Or when you're dating someone, if you're in an exclusive relationship and your eyes tend to go around, you
Oo.
chose that person eh.
Kaya ang daming, kahit kami na-encounter namin, kunyari kasal na, tapos sasabihin nila na, alam mo, hindi ko feel kasi na ikaw yung soulmate ko eh. That's a lie. Like, di ba? Kasi kahit kasal ka na, you made the choice, iniisip mo pa rin that there is someone right there for you. But which is totally unchristian.
Yeah.
Hey guys, you may now stream Nobody starring Bob Odenkirk only on upstream.ph. Currently 98% on Rotten Tomatoes and Metacritic, and hailed as one of the best action comedy thrillers of in recent years. Watch it at the comforts of your home only on upstream.ph today. Yeah, and I think it also hurts a lot of people because they really never get to appreciate what they have, and they keep on looking for the next great thing or the happier setup or the more peaceful setup, when in fact whatever they're choosing, that's their choice, and you can be happy with your choice and you can have peace with your choice. And I think that just puts a lot of perspective when Apple said na when you say I do, or when you say yes, kahit sa isang relationship, when you say yes, that's your choice. So the moment that you look for someone, that's also your choice, that you're choosing not to fulfill the commitment that you made to this person.
Exactly.
So I love that. And I know na every relationship, I want to ask you guys this. I know in every relationship naman, it's not always rainbows and butterflies. While we have seen you guys, flourish kasi you put God first in your relationship. I want to go a little bit in depth on that. What are some challenges that you guys experienced, and how were you able to overcome it? And what do you think is the main reason why other relationships are not, they're not really good in handling the harshest or the roughest situation that relationships go through?
Yeah, I think because a lot of people who get married, because we're doing this saving your marriage before it starts thing, right? So a lot of people go into marriage with the wrong expectations. They think that once we do get married, we'll be able to fix this and that. And once we do get married, everything will get better. But it's not eh. Actually, when you do get married, a lot of the filters that you had when you were still dating will be shattered. And you will be left with the rawness of the person that you will be for the rest of your life. So I think what really sa amin kasi when we did our vows, di ba, for richer and for poorer, ang nangyari sa amin, nauna lang yung for poorer or for richer. Nauna talaga yung pagsubok as in bago pa nga kami ikasal nagkaroon na agad ng mga trials. And we were, now in retrospect, we're looking back, we're very thankful na nagsimula kami sa hirap, na nagkaroon agad kami ng problems kasi it really solidified our, more than a commitment, the covenant that we actually said. Kaya we believe kasi in the concept of it takes three to get married. It takes you, your partner, and God. Because marriage as an institution is always deemed to fail in a worldly sense. How can two different people, stay together forever? It was supposed to, talagang hindi talaga siya mag-work in a worldly sense. But then when you put the equation of God into the marriage, then you have a common ground that is unshakable, and that is God. So it really takes three to get married. So I think we entered our relationship in that context na, guys, this is not gonna be all roses, and you have to share your Amazon wish list to me, and and things can get muddy there, but we have to really work on not only for the both of us, but for this marriage as a whole. And I think for Apple and I, kasi our prayers have always been na, Lord, we want to be able to love you more so that the overflow of your love to us, yun yung maibigay ko kay Apple. Kasi we both knew that we cannot fully satisfy each other, na kami lang. So, the right expectation can really save a lot of headaches when you start, and will help you be resilient also when the challenges come.
Yeah, like for example, like one of the trials like we went through, wala pa kaming 2 weeks married. we got a call because I moved out of my house. Like we lived apart. Wala pa kaming 2 weeks na kasal. We got a call from my family in the middle of the night saying that my dad was rushed to the hospital because of of pneumonia ba yun, or something like that. And then yung parang ganun, like that whole experience, just 2 weeks of the marriage, and I realized, okay, so this is gonna be my life. Na it's not gonna be easy. Just because I said yes to the love of my life doesn't mean that the rest of my life is gonna become easy. But then I took comfort knowing now when struggles come, when challenges come, I know that God has led me to someone that I know that, okay, I'm not alone.
Yeah.
Now I've been reassured that, okay, God gave me this man that I chose out of my own free will because he knows that he will allow me to become a better version of myself, because he allows me to see myself for how God made me. Na kung anong mga challenges na darating sa buhay namin, alam ko na, okay, kaya ko to, hindi dahil magaling ako, but because God has equipped me to become that kind of person already. And that's what Jeric is to me, a reflection of how God sees me. Ayun.
Huwag mo naman ako payakin.
Drama mo.
Wala pa akong sweldo.
Wow.
I know, right? Totally switch the mood, right?
Yeah.
Thank you, Kap, for that.
Yeah, that's really touching and nakakatuwa talaga, just to hear that. And I think a lot of relationships, I think that includes me. We're too focused on like the worldly attributes on this relationship itself, and when we're just going to focus on that, hindi talaga siya mafulfill, hindi talaga siya enough, and I think I could relate to what Jeric was saying, na if the only reason why it works is because we try to put God first. We try to let God's love overflow sa atin, and I think that's the same concept again with self-love, na you cannot really try to love a person completely, lalo na kapag hindi ka naman overflowing with love. And you can only love someone na overflowing if you can receive that overflowing love, which is coming from kay God lang natin na-experience yun. Now, I'm not a very religious person, but it just really makes sense na as a human, we're so frail, we're so fragile, and sobrang dami nating, pagkukulang. And kung tayo lang talaga is may hirapan lang talaga tayo. And I love what Apple said na magiging reflection lang si Jeric na kung paano talaga magmahal si Lord sa'yo. And not like just because you said yes, magiging masaya na habang buhay. But it really gives you comfort knowing na meron kang kasama all throughout. And yeah, I just repeated the things that you said because I really enjoyed that and I really learned a lot from it. And few things to talk about or to ask you guys before we actually end this episode. One is, what is your advice to the people who are going through a heartbreak, who are moving on from someone? And what advice can you give them in, trying to build themselves up again and, maybe trying to fall in love again or be in a relationship again?
So basically the question is, what's our advice to Alec? Pina-expound lang yun. Pero
Nika,
yung-
cut that part. Joke lang.
So
Hindi actually yung intensity ng question nila. I was thinking that, hindi ko lang sinabi. But you
Ako na akong bahala
Oh,
sa'yo.
God.
Anong advice mo kay Alec?
You know what? Nakakaloka. Sorry, Nikay. Very recently, just a couple of days ago, I was recording this podcast. Inaanak ng mga magulang ko sa kasal. She passed away because of cancer. And she was very young. She was only 40. And she left behind her husband and her twin boys who are 4 years old. And the husband called my parents in the middle of the night from the Philippines, just crying and saying na ang sakit na mawala ng ganon. And one of the things my parents said that until now, the past couple of days, and I think I realized, grabe, like it just had so much impact on me. My parents told the guy that obviously he's going through heartbreak. It's not just breaking up with a person, it's losing someone, losing the love of your life for forever. And my dad told him, sabi niya, even in the Bible, there's a time for everything. I think it's in
Ecclesiastes.
I can never pronounce that book. But basically, there's a time for everything. There's a time for there's a time for joy. There's a time for sorrow. There's a time for sowing. There's a time for reaping. There's a time for mourning. This is your time right now to mourn. Allow yourself to mourn.
Yeah.
If you're in a heartbreak, don't deny yourself that emotion. Allow yourself to go through the process of mourning, of really grieving the heartbreak, grieving
Telling it
the
to God.
loss.
Yeah.
Ibigay mo sa Panginoon na nasaktan ako, nahirapan ako, my heart was fully broken, it's in pieces. I have no idea how to be honest with God and allow yourself to really feel that emotion. Because once you're able to let go of those emotions, it won't hold a shackle on you. That's how you'll be able to move on forward, because you've gotten rid of all of the emotions that could have been excess baggage, extra baggage sa puso mo.
Yes.
So if you're going through a heartbreak, let yourself go through that. And then when that time ends, then you realize that there is another time for joy, another time for reaping the harvest of the sowing of what you've gone through. And the joy will come, that hope will come, that experience of Easter sa buhay mo will come. And that's just the trust and the faith na hindi ka talaga iniwan ng Diyos no matter whatever heartbreak.
Yeah.
So when you have that in mind, then you will allow yourself to fully experience that grieving process with purpose and to be able to absorb whatever lessons you need to learn from that experience, so that when you move on, you're a better version of yourself, and that you'll be able to see life fully ready for you to experience with whatever else that God has in store. So sa mga langga ngayon no, who's listening to this episode and you're going through a heartbreak, know that you're not alone, but also know that you have to go through this so that the next time you have to go through another experience, you're a better version and you know exactly what you need to do in order to avoid that heartbreak the next time around.
Planning ahead of time is probably one of the best life hacks I go by. Do you also keep track of everything you do with a to-do list, grocery list, planner, and agenda? Is it enough? Sometimes the most important things in life come when we least expect it to. So it's best to always be prepared. I know it's hard, especially with everything that's going on at the moment, but there's one thing I can assure you with. You can start preparing your future while making the most of the present, even for just 5 minutes. Impossible? No. Kaya mo yan with BPI. To prepare for the future, you must be aware of the present. With BPI, you can start living in the moment without worrying about your future. BPI serves with speed and efficiency. You need to check whether your transaction is cleared. Pull up your BPI online account for the answer. You need to send money for your families while you're away. BPI online banking can immediately transfer funds. Security, your future is secured with BPI. Just download the BPI mobile app. Click open a new account and then create a bank account. Fill out the important details, send a photo of your valid ID and take a selfie. Confirm it right away to start funding your account within 7 days. See? In just 5 minutes lang, di ba? What a hassle-free way to prepare for the future. Kaya yan with BPI. Now, if you're still wondering about what the future holds, open an account anywhere with BPI today. Experience the best life preparedness with BPI, near or far.
Sabi ni Alec, i-review ko to.
Sorry, it was that long. I'm so sorry. Your turn
No,
lang.
that was really lovely and really beautiful. So thank you so much for that, Apple. Jeric, may gusto ka bang ipahabol? Advice sa
I
mga
think-
broken natin dyan.
Alec, para sa'yo, you just said kasi that you're not that religious, but I believe that each and every one of us has a piece of God within us, diba? Even if you're not practicing, maybe you're not a practicing Catholic or a practicing Christian, but there is a moral compass within us that we always long for God. There is always a longing. We were made that way.
Gotcha.
Even if you deny it, even if we're an imago Dei, we're the image of God. We're made in the image and likeness of God. And so when we believe that, when we internalize that we were created by God, we have to also believe that we were created by a God who turns nothing into something. That we were created by a God that turns something bad into a greater good. Diba? It is within the death, in the crucifixion, that the greatest love story was told. And so, sa mga nagkakaroon ng heartbreak ngayon, may pinagdadaanan. Kasi pag nasa moment ka na yan, feeling mo talaga wala na. Wala na talaga kasi nasa harap mo yung problema eh. That's why you don't think that there is hope. But you have to trust that sometimes it takes a heartbreak. It takes a moment in life that you have to be broken into pieces so that God can rebuild you into something greater. And that applies into every aspect of life, more so in our relationships. Baka hindi natuloy yung taong yun kasi God was saving you from a bigger disaster kung pinilit mong mahalin yung taong yun. That later on in life, magbe-break din pala kayo. So, might as well, i-break ka na ngayon para hindi ka na ma-save ka ni Lord for a bigger heartbreak that might not let you survive it. No, diba? So, it's about trusting that you serve a God who is a God of a greater good. That despite the heartaches that you're feeling right now, Alec, in retrospect, sabi nga ni Steve Jobs, no? Let's just move away from religious. You can only trace life backwards. You can trace the dots of life backwards. But when you're in that moment, like what Apo say, give it the proper season. Proper season to be sad. But don't stay there. You move forward and you look ahead with the trust that you have a God that brings about a greater good. And with that, may God be pleased.
Ang ganda. Thank you. Thank you so much. Your words are really comforting, and I don't know, kung ako lang yon, wala naman akong pinagdadaanan, pero I really...
Wala ba?
Wala ba?
Wala ba?
Kasi
Wala
mamaya
naman
sa
ata akong
backstage na natin
pinagdadaanan.
pag-usapan.
Mamaya natin pag-usapan sa backstage.
Hindi kayo paki-edit ako yan.
Pero it was really comforting to hear to hear those words. It's not something na we get to hear every single day. Although it's almost like ang daming mga positive na motivational or inspirational or something like that. Iba pa rin pag alam mo yun, grounded sa faith mo. It just shows how true those words are. Hindi lang pala siya motivational, something na ganyan na it can really help you in a lot of ways. And that's how I felt when you guys were talking. So thank you so much for sharing those. And I would love to talk more with you about these topics. I think we can talk a lot. Feeling ko nagsisimula pa lang tayo eh. Dahil pa natin pwedeng pag-usapan, pero 48 minutes na pala ako nagre-record. So we gotta end this. And but before I actually let you go, I have here in the podcast a segment called not Fast Talk. It's similar to Fast Talk. It's called Real Talk here in Small Talk. So I'm going to ask you 5 questions, and you are going to answer with either one phrase, one word, or one sentence, no explanation. So yeah.
I
Are you
suck
ready?
at
Word,
these.
It's, it's gonna be very wholesome, so don't worry.
Can I have like 2, 3, 4, 5 words,
Okay. Sige. Okay, first question. What is happiness?
God's joy in you.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said one each.
Yeah, you could answer it. You could answer it too.
Yeah, that's just joy. God's joy.
So
yeah.
you disagree. Okay. Same. Same answer.
Same. Yeah.
Okay. Second question. What is success?
Peace.
How do you get my answer? I was going to say that. Ay, matching.
Oy, not thinking.
You know what? I'm
Meron ka
gonna
rin-
answer.
Maganda rin yung excuse mo sa parang small talk lang again. Same.
Same.
Okay. Next question. What's the best advice that you have ever received?
God loves me.
You are loved.
Still. Same.
but different.
Same but different.
Same but different.
Okay.
Okay. Fourth question. What is the worst advice that you have ever received?
You are alone.
Have a separate bank account. Seriously, that's the worst advice. Have a secret bank account. Yeah, nako. Yeah. Don't do that, Alec, ha? No secret bank account.
Oh, take note. Take note, guys. Okay.
Serious yun.
Last question. What do you guys want your legacy to be known for?
That we raise children that are God-fearing.
Ganda.
Why?
Again, that was my answer.
That's your answer? Well, okay.
Not that I was a loving.
Make it more eloquent.
Not that I was a loving person.
That we were a loving person. Maybe papasok ko na sa... Okay.
Okay.
Good enough.
Thank you for your wonderful answers. And We haven't talked about your podcast yet, but please promote your podcast. What is your podcast about? What's your mission? Where can they listen to you? Where can they find you? Also promote your Instagrams or your TikToks kung meron man.
Do we have a TikTok?
We had a TikTok, but it died.
May it rest in peace.
We'll try to retrieve it. But anyway, you can follow us and listen to us on langaspeaks.com, or you can just search Langga Speaks, Langga Speaks. It means Beloved Speaks podcast. And we talk about family, faith, and
Everything in between.
yeah, very soon, the everything in between will be
Gone.
gone. So we talk about...
Because we always talk about everything in between.
Yeah, we talk about pre-marriage actually for now. And we talk about beloved conversations on how God's joy and love is a very good impact, is a huge impact in someone's life. So check it out on wherever you consume your
I
podcasts.
think that's the most like in-between promotion we've ever done, ever.
Langaspeaks.com kasi a lot of our listeners they don't know how to do Spotify. They listen on the browser.
On the browser.
Okay.
You're totally giving away our age, you know, the age of our listeners. But yeah, we also do facilitation for those who are seriously dating, those who are engaged. If you want to check it out, we're certified facilitators for saving your marriage before it starts, or Symbis. So also check out our website, langaspeaks.com/Symbis, SYMBIS.
That's it.
Love it. I'm sure that baka pag
You'll be joining soon?
Yeah, actually, nirecruit namin to si kaso wala eh. Hindi pa daw. Wala pang pambayad ng facilitation.
Medyo recruitment. Medyo maaga yung recruitment process na naganap. So, anyway, I'm sure guys. Anyway, I really had so much fun. And if I know a lot of my listeners are really, I'm sure that they really enjoyed this one. And so baka dagmain kayo sa mga messages ha.
Wow. Thank you. Thank you for the opportunity, Alec. Seriously, but thank you so much.
No, yeah, it's my honor, it's my pleasure, and I really love talking to you guys. Hopefully we could do this like a regular thing. And hindi naman to like one-on-one counseling, pero feeling ko parang joke.
Dinaan sa podcast
Dinaan sa small talk.
Sana hindi one-on-one. Sana one day, two-on-two.
We'll never know.
Kaya pumunta ka na dito, or we hope to see you here in Dubai soon. Marami nag-aantay dito. So, meron kami ng roster dito.
Yeah, hindi ko talaga mapigilan ng ngiti ko pag kayo ang kausap ko. So, maraming salamat for just spreading good vibes and, just sharing your message and sharing your truth, especially here on Small Talk. So, again, Langga, thank you so much. Apple, Jeric, thank you guys. And if you're listening to this podcast episode and if you enjoy this one, go ahead and share it. Tag us on Instagram. You can tag me at Small Talk Podcast or at Alec Cuenca. And you could also tag Langga Speaks at Langga Speaks, right? Am I correct? Okay. Yeah, at Langga Speaks. And share us a moment in this episode that you really enjoyed and you really connected with. So again, thank you guys for listening. My name is Alec Cuenca. This is Small Talk, small conversations with huge impact. And I will talk to you guys next episode. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening to Small Talk. For more updates, you can follow me at Small Talk Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok. That's at Small Talk Podcast on Instagram and on TikTok.
The views and opinions expressed by the podcast creators, hosts, and guests do not necessarily reflect the official policy and position of Podcast Network Asia. Any content provided by the people on the podcast are of their own opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company, individual, or anyone or anything.